बताइए. Any clarification you want? And why you people are not turned in? That is the assignment 2 and 3. Why? So many students are not still turned on the assignment 2 and 3. So inter-thread communication is over. So next topic we supposed to start is event handling, I think, right? Is it correct? Chidrup, Chinmay, where is Chinmay? Chinmay? Chinmay idya?
ma'am.
ಅದೇ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಚೋಡಿ ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ನೀನು ಇಸ್ರೋದು ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ವಾ? ಸರ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
So next topic is event handling. So this is a very important. Any doubts regarding your second internals? Any clarifications you want? Maybe regarding your portion, or maybe the shortage of attendance, fees dues. Any clarification you want? How many students are having fees due in your class? CR? Harish? Harish is not there. Harish Tanikavelu?
I am there, ma'am.
You don't know, no idea about the number of students who was having the fee due, Harish?
No idea, ma'am.
No idea. Okay, but so many are there in your class, Harish.
Ma'am, but those are confidential, ma'am.
Confidential, correct. But see, if they did not pay the fees, again they will not be allowed for writing the second internals once again. It is a problem for them, Harish. Why can't you, as a CR, why can't you put on message in the unofficial group stating that this is what is going to happen? Not like previous year, Harish. Okay. I think you people can understand the things better than me. Okay, now we will move on to the event handling, that is Java. It is a fundamental to Java programming because as it is going to create applets. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by applet? The starting of the Java program only I told what do you mean by applet. Anyone? Chidrup, Chinmay, Akriti Gupta, Bhumika, Bhavana. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by applet? Chidrup, Chinmay, Harish?
Applet is a Java program that runs in a web browser, like embedded within a web page.
Very good. So it is a small tiny program, right, which is going to be it is having most of the applications in the web browsers. Very good, Vaibhav. So Vaibhav is always studying well, Vaibhav, right? You are interested to learn the things. Very good. So because of this integral part of the creation of the applets and other types of graphical user interface based programs, right? So applets are event driven programs that use a graphical user interface to interact with the users, as we are going to use with the web browsers. The applets will have more applications on the internet. Okay, so any program that use a graphical user interface like Java applications written for the Windows is always called as a event driven. So you cannot write these kind of programs in any other programming languages, since the Java events are supported by number of packages, including we have the Java.awt, Java.utl, right? So those are some of the events. Most of the events to which your program will respond are generated when the user interacts with the GUI-based programs. Okay, GUI-based means graphical user interface, means with you will have some icons, right? And those icons will tell you, instruct you what that particular icon is going to do, right? Nowadays, to make the software more user friendly, you have come across almost all the softwares are user friendly, so graphical user interface only, right? So most events to which your program will respond are generated when user is going to interact with the graphical user interface based programs. So these are the types of events which are going to be in the future sections we are going to study, right? The specific method, it depends upon the actual event. Okay, there are different types of events which are going to include and generated by the mouse, keyboard and various graphical user controls such as a push button, scroll bar and the checkbox. Okay. Now this Java event handling mechanism examines the main event classes and interfaces used by the AWT, that is a package which we have java.awt, and develop several examples that is going to be demonstrated for the fundamentals of event processing. Okay, which uses the java.awt as the library package which is present in the java.lang, and develop several examples which is going to demonstrate the inner classes, right, adapter classes and anonymous inner classes to streamline the mode of the event handling code, whatever we are going to write it. So event related GU based programs, events are also occasionally used for the purpose not directly which are related to your graphical user interface based programs, but in almost all the cases same basic event handling techniques are going to be applied when we are going to use in the Java programming. So event handling is a most important significantly between the original versions of the Java and modern version of the Java. Okay, so old version of the Java will not have much facility when compared to the higher version, right? So your the 1.0 method of event handling will still supported, but it is not recommended for the latest technology programs like IoT networks, right, and other artificial intelligence or NLP like that. Okay, so the modern approach is the way that events should be handled by all new programs. Okay, and thus the method applied in this event handling. So it is what we can define is a event handle defines a standard and consistent mechanism to generate and process the events, right? That model we call it as a delegation event model. Okay, which is going to define some standard mechanism and consistent mechanism to generate some process events. It is quite simple that a source generates an event and sends it to one or more listeners. Okay, the listener simply waits until it receives an event. Once an event is received, the listener processes the event and then returns whatever the value, whatever the results it is going to get it, that is going to be returned. The advantage of this design, that is event handling, is that application logic that processes events is clearly separated from the other user interfaces logic that generates those events. A user interface element is able to delegate the processing of an event to a separate piece of code. Okay, so we can say that in delegation event model, listeners must register with a source in order to receive an event notification, right? So that this provides an important benefit that notifications are sent only to listeners that wants to receive them. So you people have come across that. It's okay in your when you are working with the internet or in your laptop, so you will receive so many notifications, right? So if you are interested to receive those notifications, then only it is going to be you can enable them. So otherwise you can disable them. That means you are not interested to listen that notifications. Okay. So this is more efficient. We have to handle the events, and design is used by the old Java 1.0 approach. An event was propagated up through a containment hierarchy until the particular event is going to be handled by the component. Okay. So the event was propagated up the containment hierarchy until it was handled by the component, and the required components to receive events that they did not process, and it is going to be wasted and your valuable time. Okay. So that is the delegation event is going to model the or eliminates the this kind of override. Okay. Java also allows you to process events without using the delegation event model. Okay. So that is a modern approach which we are going to handle all the events is based on the delegation event model. Okay. So AWT done by extending the library, that is java.awt component. So this is the delegation event model is a preferred design for the reasons just we are going to cite it. So first of all, we will learn what do you mean by event. Okay. So an event is an object that describes a state change in a source. Okay. It is going to describe what are the changes that has been made in a resource, and it is going to be generated as a consequence of person who is going to interact with the elements in the GUI based software. Okay. Some of the activities that causes events to be generated are pressing a button, entering a character via keyboard, selecting an item, a list, and clicking the mouse. Then you take the event sources. What are I told now? That is describe the state change in the source. So what do you mean by event source? Okay. A source is an object that generates an event. This occurs when internal state of the object changes in some way. Sources are going to generate more than one type of the event. Okay. Now a single source may generate any number of object events, right? A source must register the listeners in order for the listeners to receive notification about a specific type of the event. Each type of the event has own registration method. Okay. So general form of this will be public void, see there, add, type, listener, and type listener EL. Here the type is the name of the event which we are going to use it. Okay. So like key listener, right, mouse motion sorry, mouse motion listener, like that. Okay. So and EL, see there, type listener EL we are given. Okay. It is an reference to the event listener. For example, take the method register a keyboard event listener is called add key listener. Okay. Add key listener, and in the bracket, okay, we are given the method that register a mouse motion listener is called add mouse motion listener. Okay. A source must also provide a method that allows the listener to unregister an interest in the specific type of the event. So for that, general format will be remove the type. See here, there type listener. Here we are going to give the remove type. Okay, we are going to remove if they are not interested in listening. Okay, they can unregister by specifying the remove type listener. Okay, here also the type is the name of the event and EL is a reference of that event listener. For example, if I am going to give remove a keyboard listener, you would call remove key listener. See that the word remove have been used. Suppose they are interested, okay, they are going to register for the notifications, then you will get a key listener and add a mouse motion, right? So that is a mouse motion, means it is nothing but a movement of the mouse on the screen is called as a mouse motion. So come to the, what do you mean by event listener, right? So why we are going to use the event classes and all. Now event listeners is nothing but an object that is notified when an event occurs. It is going to notify the when you it is going, it is a listener which is going to notify that whenever the one or more events are going to occur. It has two major requirements. First, it must have been registered with one or more sources to receive the notification about specific types of the event. Okay. Second thing is, it must implement the methods to receive the process of these notifications. Okay. See, what is the method is, the method that receives and process events are defined in the set of interfaces found in the library java.awt.event. That is why we want the library java.awt.event. You take for example, the movement of the mouse. That is a mouse motion listener interfaces that defines two methods to receive the notification when the mouse is dragged or moved, right? Any object may receive and process one or both of these events if it provides the importance of these interfaces. Many other listener interfaces are going to be like a keyboard, okay, monitor, okay, like that. So come to the next is, which are the event classes that are present in the Java library. See now the action event. So what it does is, it generated when a button is pressed, a list item is double clicked or menu item is selected. You recall your memory, the operation of your mouse. Okay. So what you are going to do? When a button is pressed, a list of item is double clicked, a menu item is selected. Okay. Then next is so I will tell you what you mean by event classes first of all. Okay. So these are the core Java events that is going to handling some mechanism. Okay. And event handling must begin with the event classes. It is important to understand, however, that Java defines several types of events and that are not all event classes can be. The most widely used events of these defined by your library java.awt.java and those defined by swing. Okay, so AWT events. So several swing specific events are going to be studied in the future section, right? So when we are going to move on to the module 4, we are going to study Java swings, right? There we are going to study about the swing specific events. At the root of the Java event class hierarchy, okay, is an event object, which is a java.utility. It is a super class of all the events. You know that java.util is a super class of all the events. Okay. Suppose I am going to give an event object, then object src. So here we can say src is the object that is going to generate this particular event. Okay. And event object contains two methods. One is a get source and toString. The get source method returns the source of the event. Its general form will be the object get source. Expected to string returns a string equivalent to the particular event. Okay. Then the class AWT event, which is containing the java.awt.event, right? So it is going to define within a java.awt package, is a subclass of the event object. It is the superclass either indirectly or directly to all AWT based events used by the delegation event model. So we have the get ID method can be used to determine the type of the event. That method we are going to give us int get capital ID. So whatever the AWT event or provides the end, okay. So it is very important to know that only the other classes which we are going to have the subclasses of the AWT event, okay. So we can summarize that event object is a superclass of all the events, and AWT events is a superclass of all the AWT events that are handled by the delegation event model. So we have the package in Java, that is java.awt.event, which is going to define many types of events that are generated by various user interface elements. Okay. So several commonly used event classes, and that provides a brief description of so they are going to describe briefly, and some of the event classes as it is mentioned in this essay. So one is an action event that is generated when we are going to press a button or a list of double clicked, or we are going to a menu is going to be get selected. Okay. So adjustment event, it is going to be generated when a scroll bar is manipulated. Okay. Then component event is going to generated when a component is hidden, moved or resized, or it becomes a visible. So container event, which is going to be generated when a component is added or removed from a container. Okay. Then next is a focus event, which is generated when a component gains or loses the keyboard focus. Okay. Input event, it abstracts superclass for all the components input event classes. Item event, which is going to be generated when a checkbox or list item is clicked, also occurs when a choice selection is made or checkable menu item is selected or deselected. So generated when input is received from the keyboard, key event. Okay. So key event is the one which is going to be generated when input is received from our input device keyboard. So mouse event, that is another event which is going to be generated when the mouse is dragged, moved, clicked, pressed or released. Also generated when the mouse enters or exits a component. And mouse wheel event, it is going to be generated when the mouse wheel is moved. So next is a text event, right? So when this text is event is going to be generated when the value of the text or a text field is changed. So another very important which we are using is a window, right? So generated when a window is activated, closed, deactivated, or deconfide. Okay, I or I confide or opened, or you are going to quit the window. So these are about all the event classes, that is action, that is the event classes which we have main event classes in the library of java.awt.event. Okay, this is a superclass of all the events. Okay, so next is the we'll come to the action event class. Okay, what do you mean by action event class? It is generated when a button is pressed or list of items double clicked or menu is going to be selected. The action event class define 4 integer constants, right? That can be used to identify any modifiers associated with an action event, right? So in addition, there is an integer constant action, comma, performed, which can be used to identify the action events. Okay. So these are that is the meaning of these action events. All action events are generated when this is action event has 3 constants: action event object source, int type and string cmd. See, action event object source type cmd modifiers. Action event object source type cmd when modifier long and when. Here So we'll define what is these parameters which are specified in the action event, right? Here SRC is a reference to the object that is generated this event, that is a source, right? The type of the event is specified by the type, okay, and its command string is the CMD. We know that command prompt, when we want to go to that command prompt, we are going to type in a CMD. So that is called as a command string, we call it. The argument modifiers indicates which modifier keys we are using. Alt, Control or Shift were pressed when the event was generated. The when parameter specify when this particular event is going to occur. Okay, these are the parameters. SRC is a source that is going to be given a reference when the event is generated. Type is event that is going to specify what kind of event it is. Okay, and CMD, it is a command prompt, right? We call CMD is a command string. Whenever we want to run the command prompt, we use a CMD as a string. And modifiers, that is going to modifiers keys, right? Like which are the modifier keys? Shift, Control, right, Alter, okay, and those are all called as generated. The when is a parameter that so particular event has occurred at a particular time. So that is going to specify that so that event has occurred. So you can obtain the command name of the invoking the action event object by using the get action command method, which is shown here as a string get action command. Okay, so that is a so we can also obtain using this get action command method, which is going to return the value of the string. Okay, and we have the method called as the get modifier method, which is going to return a value which is going to indicate that which modifier keys alt, control or shift were pressed when the event was generated. Its form is get modifier. Here int get modifier. The method getWhen returns the time at which the event took place. This is called the event timestamp. The getWhen method is shown here, that is long getWhen. Come to the adjustment event classes. Okay, the which are called as adjustment event generated by squirrel bar. Okay, they are going to be generated by squirrel bar. There are 5 types of adjustment events. That is a block decrement, when the user clicked inside the squirrel bar to decreases its value. It decreases its value. So block increment, when the user is going to click inside the squirrel bar, it increases its value. Have you practiced this with a mouse pointer, right? Adjustment event class, say in in our laptops or desktops, when we are going to use a mouse to click on a particular squirrel bar, what happens, right? So block decrement decreases the value, and blocked increment it increases the value. And in another track, that is a event class called as a track, right? So this slider was dragged. Okay, that you can drag it for any that is a movement of the squirrel bar, we call it as a slider was dragged. Okay, unit decrement, the button at the end of the squirrel bar clicked and decreases its value. You can see in some of the softwares that you can see that there will be multiple windows has been operating, right? When you look into that multiple windows, the squirrel bars for both the multiple windows, it has to be occurred. Okay, so when the button at the end, say arrow mark has been shown on the right and on the left, right? If you are going to click on the right arrow mark, then the information at the squirrel bar moves on the right part of your monitor. Okay, if you are going to click on the left arrow mark, it is going to move on to the left window, right? Or it is moving on to the left of your system, whichever the system you are using, maybe desktop or the laptop. Okay, so that is about the unit increment is the button at the end of the scroll bar is clicked, it increases its value. These are the 5 adjustment event classes that Java is going to handle. And now there is a one constructor called as a adjustment event constructor, right? Say what is the name of the constructor is same as a class name, right? What is the class name you are given? Adjustment event is a class name you are given, so we are going to give the name, same name as for a constructor also. Adjustment event bracket adjustable source comma int id comma int type comma int data. It takes 4 parameters. One is going to reference to the event which is generated by a particular source, and another one is the identity of the specifies the particular unique identification of an event, right? And type adjustment is specified by type, and its associated data is data. Okay, so come to the component event class. The component event is generated when the size, position or visibility of a component is changed. So here, so component type is having the 4 classes of 4 types of component events. One is when you are going to give a component hidden, then that is it is going to give the message component was hidden. Okay, component mode, it is going to give the message the component is moved, and component underscore resized, the component was resized, right? Component shown, components become visible. So component event has its constructors, right? Even this component event is also having the constructor, right, which is going to take 2 parameters. One is of the source, which is referenced by object, that source is going to be get generated by this event, and the second one is the type of the event that is specified by the type. So component event is a superclass either directly or indirectly of container event. It is going to focus event, key event, mouse event and Windows event. Okay, it is going to concentrate on all these events. That is the container event, focus event, key event and the mouse event and Windows event. So next method is the get component, which is going to return a component that is generated by that particular event, and it will be used as a component space get component as a method. Okay, so these are the different component event classes we have: hidden, moved, resized and shown. Okay, it is having the methods get component method, which returns a component that is generated by a particular event, and it is going to be used as component space get component. Next is a container event class. So it is generated when a component is added or removed from a particular container. There are 2 types of container events. One is called as a container event class, which is going to define constants and can be used to identify them. Another one is the component added and component removed. Okay, the container event is a subclass of component event and has the constructor which contains the source, type and the conf. Source, as already told, that all the source will be reference to the container that generated by the particular event, and type is always specified by the type of the event which we are handling. Okay, and the component that has been added or removed from the container is called as a COMP. Okay, which is going to specify whether you have been removed that container or you have added that component into the container. Okay, that specifies the addition and deletion of a component. And even you can get container method is there, which is going to be used for the reference generated, thus even that using that getIn method, it is going to be shown as container space get container. That is a method which is going to obtain reference to a particular container which is generated by the event by using this method. Okay, and one more is called as a get child. Say it is a component. See, it is called with a component space get child. So this method is going to return a reference to the component that was added or removed from the container. So general form will be here. The get container is a container method and get child is a component type. So it has been given methods with the container get container method and component with the get child method. So come to the focus event classes. So there are programs which are going to handle the mouse and the keyboard. See here. So there are adapter classes also. Okay. So still some more topics are there related to your event handling, and even the examples are given. Programming examples are being given for the mouse and the keyboard events. Okay. So I'll do one thing. Now I will stop I'll wind up the class. Okay. So tomorrow's class I'll discuss. You have to understand, that's it. Methods, some of the methods which are going to handle the events, right? So different types of events are there. You have to remember what are the different types of event classes. Focus event class, container event class, right? Component event class, like that. So you go through the topic. Okay, I will share these notes with you people. You can refer any Java book or any Google Guru, which are very easy to understand these event handling event classes. So these are the event classes we are going to explain one by one. Action event over, adjustment event over, component event over, container over, event is over. Next will be so these many events are there. So when you are going to study key event and mouse event, right? We are going to write a program to handle the mouse and the key events, right? That is when you are going to press key, what happens when you are going to drag and drop, right, or motion of the mouse. So we are going to write a simple program which is going to illustrate the movement of your mouse and the working condition of your keyboard. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, I will wind up the session. Thank you one and all. You please submit your assignment, upload your assignments and quizzes, attend the quizzes in MS Teams, right? So they are also countable for your assignment, as you people already know it. They carry marks, 10 marks, right? And suppose your